In 2009, the film Watchmen was released, and you know what? I really liked it. I was a fan of the comic books, and just seeing the characters on the big screen was awesome. I know many panned the film at the time, but I thought Zack Snyder had done a great job adapting 300 from the graphic novel, and that the grittiness of Watchmen was just a little bit ahead of its time, coming too early into the MCU push, with Iron Man only being released the previous year in 2008. At the time, I remember seeing some very interesting stills photography from the film sets, but I never managed to get a copy of the book. Until now. Thanks to the popularity of my video about film stills photography on the set of Fallout, I used that money from YouTube to buy a copy of the book, and that's the book right here. It's a little bit banged up, alright? Okay, the dust jacket's a bit blown, but look! The book's okay. So yeah, it's a very, very large book. It just about fits on my tea trolley here. And here he is, man, the comedian. Probably one of my favourite characters in Watchmen. Okay, that's pretty, not great. But that scene where he leaps out in the movie, and it's like the disco period, and like it's slow motion, him leaking out, you know, slow motion, Zack Snyder. We get it, Zack, but it looks so cool. And there he is, man. So a little bit like what I said in the previous video about film stills photography on Fallout, the actor is the comedian. He's the comedian. The gaze, the pose, like everything. Obviously he's in the gear, but like you can see that glint in his eye, right? That little glint. There's so many amazing portraits of the main cast in this book, and what's cool about the nature of the narrative in Watchmen is it's set over many decades, so you get these actors kind of playing their character throughout time. So here's Carla Gugini doing an amazing job as, I was going to say Jennifer Juniper. It's not Jennifer, just Sally Jupiter, right? And yeah, wow, you know, amazing. But then this is her when she's old, you know, pretty good job, right? And then this is her kicking butt as Silk Spectre, yeah? I mean, you know, the convention of the black and white, the portrait, the clothes, obviously we're hitting like the kind of sort of stylistic of pin-up photography. But yeah, it's an amazing role. The book, it's quite cool in that it's not just the main cast. There's photographs of like loads and loads of other characters in, like people who'd only appear on screen for a split second or not at all. Check it out. This guy is Hollis Mason, who played the original Night Owl, and that's his stunt double. Okay, so the stunt double got a look in the book as well. Some, yeah, amazing portraits here. We're going to get into the photographer that these are kind of ripping off later. But yeah, if you've worked it out already, let me know. This is sort of a little giveaway here. That backdrop with the stand on location. Any clues yet as to who he's ripping off? Very close portraits. There's a little hippie lady here. The whole thing about Watchmen, it's kind of set in our universe, but not quite. And I think maybe this is the scene at the start where the hippie's putting the flower in the rifle during the kind of Vietnam War protest. And obviously in our world, that flower went in and that was the end of it. But in this world, they were shot. And again, periods of history, it's kind of set through like the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s. And what's really fun on that level is like, you know, this is Rorschach, Walter Kovacs when he was a little boy. And here's the actor depicted as him, and then here's the mask that he then wears later on. It's also, you know, photographing props from the show as well, like this prop of the original Night Owl next to Night Owl when he was young. Pretty cool. And again, in character. And that's something really cool. You know, we're so used to the cult of celebrity now, but these are something else. These are the characters. So again, we got comedian with a bloody nose. We got comedian stunt double with a bloody nose. It's kind of cool. So yeah, we've got the Moloch and the comedian, and their kind of paths are intertwined in the story of Watchmen, both in the graphic novel and in the movie. Really nice sort of composition. You know, it's not just doing the same composition again and again. Some of them are quite tight. Some of them are kind of straight on but closer. Some of them are really close up. Some kind of from the side here, kind of profiles almost. So this is like credited in this book as Homeless Man, but yeah, spoiler, if you've read the graphic novel or seen the film, it's Walter Kovacs. It's the guy who plays Rorschach, but it's his day-to-day, so this is his Bruce Wayne. His Bruce Wayne is this kind of homeless conspiracy dude. He really is Rorschach, in the same way like Bruce Wayne doesn't exist. Bruce Wayne is like just Batman's fake persona. So again, this portrait of Wally Weaver, you know, he's very instrumental in the story of Dr. Manhattan, but I love the guy's expression. He really looks like he's on his way to work, and like a street portrait photographer stopped him saying, "Hey man, can I get a portrait of you?" And that expression is like, "Yeah, sure buddy, but you know, I don't really want to be here." And that's the expression. Isn't that amazing? Janie Slater, who's Dr. Manhattan's kind of squeeze, love of his life. That doesn't really work out, does it? But you know, kind of cool. So yeah, there we go. So now this is portraits of Dr. Manhattan and Silk Spectre. Seeing the background here, pretty clear, pretty wild gloves he's got on for whatever the special effects were. But again, you know, very much in character, very piercing, very full on, very, very intense. There we go, boom, Night Owl. Looking boss, right? Looking boss in the portrait, dead on, bam, Night Owl. Pretty cool. In the film, you see a number of cameras being used. A Mamiya RB67 is being used by Annie Leibovitz during a photo shoot of Adrian Veidt. And you get some nice footage through the waist-level viewfinder in the movie, which is a flex that you see all the time on social media now. And Clay photographed her too, or rather the actress playing Annie Leibovitz. And there she is cradling her Mamiya RZ67. And what's funny is that they've blotted out Mamiya on the camera there, but you can read it quite clearly on the lens. So there you go, there's Annie. This guy here with the 8mm camera, that's Abraham Zapruder. And he was the guy who basically filmed the assassination of President JFK in Dallas when he was shot. And what's really cool is that camera, that's the exact same camera. It's an 8mm Bell & Howell, I'm pronouncing that correctly. So there he is. And he's like literally a cameo. He's in it for a split second. And it's really cool that Clay was like, wow, check it out, it's Abraham Zapruder. I'll just get a shot of this guy, you know? Now, one thing that's really interesting is that in the back of the book, right, we've got all these credits of all the people who are in it. And it's like, you know, Times Square woman, 1940s couple, Walter Kovacs, big figure, prisoner. But when you get to people who are real, so for instance, it says actor portraying Annie Leibovitz. It doesn't say Annie Leibovitz. In the same way it says actor portraying Abraham Zapruder. It's the same for the photographer Clay Enos. Clay Enos is an actor portraying Richard Avedon. Richard Avedon was an incredible celebrity portrait photographer from 1946 all the way through the rest of the 20th century. He photographed everyone, and I mean everyone. But where documentary photographers like myself came to know him was his incredible photo odyssey of portraits that is in the American West. Commissioned by the Amon Carter Museum of Modern Art, Avedon travelled the West making portraits on large format black and white film. And some of Enos's portraits look like they're straight out of In the American West, like these kind of photos here, these characters, the ones you might see of kind of drifters or gang members or whatever, but yeah. Now, the only thing that kind of detracts from the work a little bit in my comparison with Avedon is like Clay was rocking a Nikon D200. It's like a 10 megapixel camera. It was obviously, you know, in the American West, and like all of Avedon's those black and white portraits were shot in large format. And like I've seen those massive large format prints in person and they're breathtaking. And the thing is, man, these were made on a 10 megapixel digital camera, and I couldn't work it out at first when I was looking at it, and I realised, yeah, it feels like they're a little bit over sharpened, a little bit. They're just a little bit, there's something going on, you know. They're still very good, don't get me wrong, it's still incredible, it's a lovely body of work. You know, it's one of those things, if you really wanted to sort of emulate Avedon, man, you've got to try some large format, right? And like black and white film, like it's way cheaper than colour at the moment. If you wanted to have a play with film, just get some black and white. But yeah, he totally did the same thing with the white background, like the pop-up white background. That was like literally Avedon's shtick in the American West. Drive around, find like a shaded area by the side of a building, throw up a sort of a white backdrop, you can just, like, you know, just for one person, just narrow, take their portrait. But yeah, it's still really cool, and I still really dig it. And it's just a wonderful time capsule, you know? So yeah, for a little while on the set of Watchmen, Clay Enos was Richard Avedon, in a way, doing this very kind of Richard Avedon style white background portraits. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed checking out the Watchmen Portraits book with me. I'm currently crowdfunding my own book on Kickstarter right now, and you've got till the 23rd of June 2024 to help me make it. So yeah, please go check out the Kickstarter. There'll be a link in the text or somewhere here. And if you really like that video, I've got a previous video where I talk about the medium format photography on the set of Fallout. So have a look at that as well. Thank you.